Hello everybody, and welcome back to a new series on this channel where I go through things from pop culture and I homebrew them in front of your very eyes to create D&D stat blocks. There'll also be some shorts where I just show off the stat blocks afterwards, but I thought it'd be nice for you guys to see how it is and to give me feedback. By all means, do drop comments in the comment section below if you think I've done anything wrong, or you want to give suggestions, or if you just kind of feel like saying, I wouldn't have done that, I would have done this, because homebrew is one of those things that is completely up to the person who's making it, and it's very possible I'm going to make something here, put it into the game, and it's just going to completely break. It's either going to be too weak, too strong, TPK my players, all of this sort of stuff. So by all means, open discussion in the comments below. This may be awful. Anyway, without further ado, we're going to get stuck in. The actual first creature that we're going to be doing for this is recently Doctor Who has had its Season 1, Series 15 or something, whatever it is, for the new Doctor. And I'm going to go through the characters and the new monsters from that series in order to kind of show off that, and also how you'd make each of those in D&D, which starts with, I believe it was the first episode, do correct me if I'm wrong, Space Babies, where the big bad is, spoiler alert, the Bogeyman. So we are going to create this stat block here for the Bogeyman. I've got a little template that I've been filling out in the past for my previous homebrews, but I thought it'd be cool to kind of go through here and see how it all goes. I thought it'd be a nice little, it'd make things a bit easier for me. I'm going to go for I think it should be large considering the size of it. I mean, both these pictures here are good indicators of what I'm looking at, just to give me reminders of everything. I'm going to say that it's large, but I don't think it should be a construct. It's probably most likely a monstrosity, just because, I mean, look at it. And it was created in some kind of weird and wonderful way. Suppose you could go for a construct, given that it is made out of bogies, but overall. Now we go for the alignment. My normal one is lawful neutral, which is kind of should be true neutral, but I kind of wanted adjective, then type. I'm thinking it's probably likely to be a evil character, but it's probably like neutral evil. I'm thinking, unless it's lawful evil, actually. And hear me out, there could be a lot of other reasons why it's not, but the reason it's lawful evil in my head is that we know that the ship in the episode is creating it to create almost the epitome of the Bogeyman, and therefore it does have strict laws that it has to follow. So my instinct is to put it as lawful evil. If you don't think that that's right, then by all means let me know in the comments below. Now we're going to go for the XP, HP, speed, and proficiency bonus. So I'm going to start with the AC. And the thing is, this thing here, if it's just completely made of bogies, I don't think it would be that hard to actually hit. And I don't think that the kind of making a weapon, I don't think it would be too padded. I think you'd be hitting it directly with every hit. So I'm going to put it as quite a low AC, but then again, it is still got some movement. So I'm going to put it as, I think I'm going to put it as about a 14 AC, and that will mostly come from about a natural armor plus some dex. I think it's going to have a semi-decent dex, not too much, but it's probably more going to have strength and then a decent charisma bonus for obvious reasons that we'll get to in a minute. In terms of HP, I mean, given in the episode it did have to get pulled out by kind of being sent into the space, we're going to stick with an HP of quite a high number. I'm going to say I'm going to go for about 150. Now this is something that I would probably want to playtest before. Most of this stuff I would want to playtest before I actually chucked it into a proper long-term campaign. And given that I'm trying to remember, I think it was relatively fast moving and it was chasing them down, but I think it was about the same speed as, say, the people, so we are going to go for the very basic 30-foot kind of movement speed here. I think overall this is giving a bit more of a decent kind of fight, but not too scary. And in terms of a proficiency bonus, I think I am going to give him, or it, I suppose, them, let's say them, give them a plus. My instinct was to say +2, but I think it is actually a big enough thing to go for +3, and then that can give us a few of the better things down here. I'm going to start with strength, which I do think is above average. I think this thing has probably got a decent amount of movement to it, but I don't think by much. So I'm going to go for a 13 there, which of course means a +1, sorry. I don't think it's going to have the abilities. It's not going to have proficiency in those checks. However, I am going to give it in the stealth. In proficiency bonus to saving throws for Dex. Saving throws was the word I was forgetting there. 14 there and a +2. And we're going to go there and we're going to grab this and we're going to put that in black. And therefore, I've gone for a bit of a higher Dex because I feel like that I feel is smarter. And then we're going to add the +2 onto there. Sorry, this is the first time I'm doing this live. It may seem weird. This is my first take. This is my first attempt, so by all means bear with me if I'm kind of doing this a bit weird. I'm hoping that by the time I've done a few episodes of this, it'll get into a bit more of a routine. Let me know what else you want to see me homebrew in the comments below if you're this far through. In terms of constitution, I mean, this thing survived being pulled out for a long time and survived quite a bit of difficult situations. So I am going to give it a pretty decent boof there. I'm going to say that's that, and that's the 4. I will say that I just messed that one up. That should be a 5. I apologise for that profusely. We're going to do for this, because its constitution I see as being a bit of a kind of beefy boy, but then the difference comes down here where they're going to get very much low wisdom and intelligence. I mean, even debating giving it a 8 maybe, or maybe I could even go for a even lower. I'm thinking of an 8 and giving this a -1. I'm thinking of giving it a wisdom of block 10, just because it's probably a little bit more wise than it is smart. So I think I'm going to lock those 2 in. Oh, don't want to drag everything around. We're going to do this. We're going to put that as black, if I can remember where it is. Nice, cool. I'm actually not sure how this is looking for you as well. I'm hoping it's a bit of an interesting thing. I've decided to just kind of show you my screen as I'm doing it. In terms of charisma, I think I'm going to go for this is a difficult one, because it doesn't look particularly charismatic there. But if we're thinking about it in terms of abilities such as intimidation, then it's going to need that high charisma, because it is intimidating as all hell. So I am going to put it as a 16. Now that one people may disagree with. People may be saying this is a thing, but obviously this is an open discussion. And I am also going to give it the proficiency in these saving throws. So it's got proficiency in Dex and Charisma saving throws, which I think is pretty good. Now we get to skills. Now the first one I want to give it, if I quickly jump to black, which is nice, is intimidation. Of course it needs intimidation, which means it does get a +6. Now the question is, do I even give it a +9? Give it an expertise in intimidation? I think I do. I don't think there's any other real sensible other method here, and I think that's overall quite sensible. I'm trying to think. Otherwise you've got athletics, acrobatics, insight. I don't think any of the mental skills would make any sense. I suppose stealth, I can't remember it being particularly stealthy though. I think it was just running after them in kind of a noisy thing. I will give it athletics, I think. Athletics, because it is quite a running thing, and so it's going to get a nice boost to that, which just puts it at +4. That does mean that given its wisdom is 10 and +0, that means its passive perception is 10 as well. I think it does technically have eyes, so I'm not going to give it anything like blind sense or tremor sense, but that's going to be a PP of 10. In terms of languages, I don't think it can understand anything, so we're going to just give it the Bogeyman language. I feel like that is something that's really smart. So we're going to go through this, and we're going to go through this. We're going to leave the challenge rating for now. I think I'll put that to the end. Maybe I'll ask you guys what you think it should be. But I'm very curious about this whole thing. And now we're going to go into the abilities. Now, I feel like it should be an interesting... Like, the main ability of this thing is it's meant to be scary. Like, even if you're not particularly scared of anything, it should be scary. So I should be able to do it something along the lines of... I feel like just calling it Bogeyman Presence. This idea that this is the Bogeyman, so by definition it should be terrifying. I suppose I could call it Terrifying Gaze or something like that, but Bogeyman Presence seems a bit more... more in its what makes sense, because it isn't really to do with look. I think it's a passive ability. So I feel like if... let's get rid of the bold so we can tell the difference. If a creature enters within 30 foot... of the Bogeyman, it must make a DC probably 19 given its intimidation, so that's 10 plus intimidation, so let's say a DC 19 wisdom saving throw, or be frightened. I believe that this is a kind of thing of, I'm not sure whether or not to give it disadvantage on this saving throw, because this is its main thing. And I have a feeling that it's not actually going to be much of a hard hitter, but it's just very difficult to actually get a hit on because you're scared of it. Maybe I'll say this lasts for, I think, 30 seconds a minute, 1 minute. This lasts for 1 minute. The creature can repeat the saving throw at disadvantage at the end of each of its turns. I like this idea because it's a bit strong, but it gives the idea that once you are scared of this thing, it becomes like almost built up inside you, and you are therefore kind of scared of the Bogeyman, which I think is quite an interesting thing. So I think that's the main main passive ability that I'm going to give it. I'm also going to give it some actions as well. If I pull that back up there, I kind of want to delete. There we go. I've got some space now. If I bring up the actions to give us a little bit more space. I don't know what it should be able to do here. I feel like it's got enough claws and stuff. It probably could probably a swipe is the best kind of attack, because I don't see any claws on that. Those are kind of terrifying fingers, but a swipe would probably do the main job of it all. So that's going to be a probably strength plus proficiency to hit, so +4 to hit, which is going to be good. I will quickly, actually, it should specify it's a melee unarmed attack, +4 to hit. Hit is gonna be, so I'm trying to think of this in terms of what else it would be. I think it's probably it's definitely not a D4. I'm leaning towards either 2d6 or 1d8 plus strength. Maybe, I think that is 1d8. I think 2d6. 2d6 seems like a sensible amount of damage, because that's about 3.5, 7 plus the 1 strength, so that's 8 damage per hit. 8 damage. 8. And that's going to be bludgeoning. Oh no, that's sorry, I should put the 1 in there. Brackets 8. Bludgeoning damage. Bludgeoning. Earning. That right? Yeah, damage. Cool. I like that swipe ability. I also think that there should be another action which is going to be like howl. Don't want to find a replace. Control B, H. There we go. Howl. It's just kind of the ability to scream and to therefore instill fear in things. And therefore, I think it's the Bogeyman presence. This kind of is, if you get close to it, you're scared. And this one's a bit more of a direct one. And I think it also could deal some damage. Every creature. And this could maybe be a further away one, because this is actually, it uses its entire action to do this. Maybe I should also put this on a recharge. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So if we go recharge 5-6. For those of you who don't know, I'm not sure how much you have looked at D&D stat blocks. Recharge 5-6 just means at the end of each turn, roll a 5 or a 6. If you do, roll a 5 or 6 on a d6. If you get that, then you recharge the ability and they can use it again. If not, then they can't use it again. Pretty much there. Each creature within 60 foot of the creature. I feel like 60 foot. Oh no, do I go for a bit bigger? If it's a recharge ability, I'll give it a little bit more strength. 120 foot of the creature must make a DC. I'm gonna keep it. Do I keep it at 19? Or do I drop it down a little bit, because this is a bit more powerful when it's a bit further away? Maybe a DC 17. Yeah, let's keep it at that. DC 17 Wisdom saving throw, or become frightened. And take, I'm just going to go for 1d6 plus, I'm going to go for the 3, because this is kind of a charisma attack, intimidation attack. Plus 1d6 plus 3 psychic damage. 1d6 plus 3 is 6 damage. I actually need to say psychic, don't I? Psychic damage? I think that's how you spell that. So those are its two kind of actions for its attacks. I can try to think of a bonus action. I kind of want its bonus action to be able to kind of almost heal itself if it gets to a location that is covered in bogeys, because obviously this thing was built from what was thrown away from the babies. So therefore I think it could be an interesting thing to kind of have a... rejuvenation? Rejuvenation, thank you for autocorrecting me. Autocorrect. Nice if the Bogeyman is within contact, is in contact with bogeys greater than, I don't know, because I feel like just a single bogey wouldn't be enough. And I'm realising I'm saying bogey a lot in this, which is like bringing a very young part of me out with very much joy that I'm able to just say bogey so much on the internet. But, you know, what you going to do? If the Bogeyman is in contact with an area of bogeys greater than 5 foot by 5 foot, greater or equal to 5 foot by 5 foot, then I think I would like have been using it. It can use its bonus action to regain. It could regain 1d6. I feel like 1d6 HP kind of makes a good amount of sense because it's just a little bit for 5 foot, and it can use its bonus action. So every turn, it's able to do an attack and heal itself up. So it's not too bad. I do want to put one final thing in, mainly because I feel like boom. I'm going to get that. I'm going to go here and add another section. Control C, Control V. Drag that down here because I kind of want it to have layer actions. I want it to have a single layer action, which means something along the lines of, is this kind of just got that? I'll bring that up. Good. We'll bring this. Nope. I just want this one. There we go. Drag that down to here. And I'm not quite sure. I don't do layer actions too much, but I do like the idea that this has a thing of scary tunnels. What do I call this place? I just kind of call it the lair of the Bogeyman. I feel like while the best thing here is just while a creature is within the Bogeyman's lair, they can all saving throws to avoid being frightened are taken at disadvantage. I think that is a nice way of doing that, and I then think that I can, if I get rid of this bit where that's at disadvantage, I feel like that balances up a bit. So now if you're fighting this thing elsewhere, it's actually relatively easy, but then if you're fighting it when you're in its lair, it suddenly becomes a lot worse, because then you're taking disadvantage on all attacks, you're very easily frightened by all of this sort of stuff, and it just becomes like a bit of a nuisance to try and deal with. So that makes sense, and I feel like therefore we're going to have two different ones, and it's going to be this or this in layer. So I think it's actually quite a low number in here. I'm going to stick this, and I'm going to say it's going to be at about, I'm going to put it about 4 maybe even less. Maybe it's like a 3 and then a 5 in its layer. You know what, I'm going to stick with 3 and 5. This is the first episode. It may be that as time goes on I learn kind of different ways of doing this, but that's going to be it for today. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing me bring this together. If you do have thoughts, which I'm sure you will, please do put them in the comments below and let me know what you'd have changed, or if you think I should adjust things or adjust how I do this. This is episode 1, so by all means, yeah, let me know. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like, subscribe, all those lovely things. I'm going to be saying this at the end of every video, but that's kind of how it is. And I will see you next time for whatever episode 2 was. There's quite a few coming in. Like, I really am looking forward to some of the ones in this series, like Rogue, the episode with Rogue in, which I think is called Rogue. And I probably could make Sutek a bit more menacing than he actually turned out to be in the episode, but that's by the by. I'll see you guys then. Ta-ra.